Hi, I'm Sahil with Learn It Live, and we're currently at the Goizueta Business School at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. For the next few minutes, I'm going to be an SOB, a student of Benn. We're currently at one of the top business schools in the world, which would make Benn one of the top business professors in the world. We're about to discuss some of his insights as to the developments of social media and what has happened in technology over the past few years. So check out the interview and enjoy.
My name is Benn Konsynski, and I'm the George S. Kraft Distinguished University Professor of Information Systems and Operations Management at the Goizueta Business School at Emory University. My background is in computer science. My degree is from Purdue University, and I spent 13 years at the University of Arizona and 7 years at Harvard Business School prior to coming to Emory about 17 years ago. Education is under a radical transformation. By the end of the 21st century, the institutions will little resemble the way they are at the beginning of that century now. At the same time, I think it's very misdirected initiatives to direct people away from the educational infrastructure. What we need to do is transform that infrastructure and relate it to the entrepreneurial environment. There are bigger changes ongoing right now. The generation called millennials or Gen Y are already attuned to recognize that their lives are very different from their parents, and it's a much more volatile arena. Education helps win. It trains them to change and adapt to change. Education ill serves if it expects to teach them about today, because today doesn't last very long nowadays. And therefore, it's very important that we merge the two initiatives. The volatility, pace, and work ethic that is exhibited in the entrepreneurial arena, creativity and innovation, task sharing, versus the specialization, professional training, licensing, and certification that often happens in the educational arena. So in some sense, I say a plague on both their houses. Preserving the past is not going to be effective from the educational side, or pretending it's irrelevant is going to be a hazard on the side of trying to get people to forego education simply because they have a few anecdotes of extraordinarily rare opportunities of very successful people in innovative period. So we need to find a good balanced mix.
Social media and the internet have changed the way we connect. So how do businesses and institutions have to adapt to seize the opportunity, fix the poor structure, and just connect the way that many are today?
Well, I think that business and enterprise are rapidly chasing yesterday's operating infrastructure. And so most of them are moving into the social media market with an understanding of what that market was and is today, and not necessarily what it will be tomorrow. So part of what we need to do is to move against where the puck is going in social media, not where it is right now. And all too often, enterprises are investing against today. The base operating infrastructures of publish and subscribe models that underlie Twitter, that underlie Facebook, will exist in the future. How they manifest themselves and how you build patterns of influence are changing. And the enterprise is not going to win by trying to be old cool. And it has to be a workup against the where these markets are going in new social media practices. In fact, today, for example, at Coca-Cola, I am leading a panel on that's called Futurecast about mobile trends in mobile social, and a part of that is that they have 300 internal Coca-Cola people and 300 major customers coming in to have a summit and forum on trends in social media. And so companies are very interested in it and leveraging it. I fear that many are addressing it in its current state instead of where it's going. And there are a few that are very interested in that future reach, like Coca-Cola and UPS and others.
Of all the social media players in the game, who would you say is the most understated or underrated in terms of potential?
That's a tough question because at this point most of them are overrated and overinflated. So that's a very good question in part, and I think it will be telling outside this summer. The focus on the operating infrastructure associated with IPOs and pricing are have sort of challenged. I think last year I would have said LinkedIn was underrated. I think it might be moving into the overrated category, but it certainly has revived itself from a near-death experience of lack of evolution and lack of relevancy. They certainly have, as opposed to moves like MySpace or even Plaxo is still struggling along on that from the business leverage side. I don't think we have the candidates that will be the big stars. 2 years from now, I think there'll be a different slate as we play out the ones that are currently existing. But it's difficult for me to say right offhand that there are any stars that I see that are exactly worth coming into. And I certainly have a history of promoting Twitter in 2006 and when it was first coming out, and people were saying that it's about people talking about what they had for breakfast, and therefore they organically rejected it. But I knew that many of these toys become tools. So the question is, what toys today are the basis for tools tomorrow?